Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter pounder with cheese in France. What? Royale with cheese. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, you're listening to Superhero Speak, and I'm your host Dave.
And John.
And JD is off again this week, boys and girls. Unfortunately, he had another family issue to deal with, and he wasn't able to see Deadpool 2, which of course that's what we're here to talk about. But I reached deep into the bench over at the Nerd Podcast Mafia, and I pulled out the myth, the legend, the often copied but never duplicated Montago Bradley of Fans on Patrol. How you doing, sir?
What's happening, fellas? How y'all doing today? I had to do it. I'm sorry. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me on. I'm smiling ear to ear, and I got a chance to talk about Deadpool, and I can't wait to talk about it some more with you cats, the masters, the guys with the lab coats on when it comes to comic book stuff.
We try.
Speak.
Yes. So, right away, just for people who maybe not listen to Fans on Patrol, which I find that hard to believe. If you like this show, you're definitely going to love Fans on Patrol. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about it?
Oh, well, we have morphed into different things over the years. We started out as a comic book review show, and none of my co-hosts really read comic books, so we changed. We tried to throw some games and stuff in there. We tried to do this and do that. And after a long time, we finally found our formulas. Me, Tifflebot, Dwayne, and we definitely review comic book movies, fan type of stuff, and we kind of review comic books. We do a book a week. We've been doing something. We've been following a certain book for a while, and to kind of do almost like a book club. It's not boring. Book club sounds boring, but it's not boring. We try to have time with it, and we always do the nerd news, just like you cats over here. So it's the same formula, but just different styles, and we really try to go hard with the comedy. So we do what we can. So right. If you never heard before, check us out, man. You like this show, you'll probably like us.
Oh yeah, definitely. You guys are talking Avengers right now, the new book, and I haven't read it, but I'm going to go pick it up because of what you guys have been talking about. So
it starting out pretty good, man. It's kind of back to basics. I couldn't think the last time we was on the show, we were talking about the Avengers, like when the book I felt was lost. I don't know. I hope I don't offend nobody, but the Hickman run just depressed me, man. I couldn't stand that when Jonathan Hickman was doing that book. It didn't even seem like Avengers. So it seems like it's back to basics now. So I'm happy about that.
Well, I don't totally disagree with you. Unfortunately, I think JD might disagree with you. He loves Hickman, so
there's nothing wrong with Jonathan Hickman. I think he just he's too smart for me, man. Shit, I'm just trying to relax and have some fun with my comics and I'm philosophizing about the universe as a whole. It's too much, man. Shit, calm down, enjoy it.
Right, exactly. So let's I'm just curious how everyone's week was, because I have something I want to share, but I'm going to let you guys share first. So, John, how was your week?
You think I'm going to go after knowing what you're going to share? No.
That's why you're going before me,
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah. I had a day off. Yay. That's about it.
No barbecuing?
If by barbecue you mean losing power and having to use the grill on my back porch, yeah, I did that.
Sorry.
How about you, Montago?
Shoot, man. I did 3 barbecues in 3 days, and I lost my air conditioner, so we had to get a replacement. So that was bad last night. But went to a bunch of parties. It's me. It's America, Memorial Day. What does that mean? Barbecue. That's it. That's all we care about is barbecue. We don't care what the holiday is, just barbecue. But 3 days in a row, so I've been having too much damn fun. And then I got this, so this is beautiful. What about you?
I have officially become old. On Thursday, my daughter gave birth to my first grandchildren.
Ooh, congratulations!
Yeah, so twin girls, Amelia and Alice, and now, it makes me feel like, am I getting too old to talk about comic books? Nah, none of that.
Hell no. Just indoctrinate them in it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I've already bought a bunch of DC and Marvel books, young reader books for them for when they get a little older. So
all them cartoons, Marvel know what they're doing. You're getting them while they're young.
Exactly. Yeah.
Add in a minute.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. That's why. People don't know this because it will get out by tomorrow, but we're recording a day later than normal because I've been going up to see my daughter every day in the hospital, but she gets out tonight. So yeah, I'll be probably there tomorrow.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's a beautiful thing.
Yes. So it's all about family, just like the movie we're going to discuss tonight.
A nice family movie.
Yeah, show dogs.
So before we get into anything, as always, we kind of like to start with a non-spoiler reaction from everyone. Go around the room. Just real quick, what were your thoughts when you came out of the theater? No spoilers. You want to go first, John?
Sure. Personally, after I got out of the theater, I was thinking to myself that this was lava-based meconium direct from the depths of Satan's anus the day after a Chipotle binge.
Oh, no.
Gracious.
I can't tell if that's a joke or not. And I went back and listened to our old Deadpool episode.
Wait a minute. I said show dogs, right?
Yes.
Oh, if you want to talk about Deadpool, then that was cool.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It was, people on this show, they keep thinking, John's just too weird. He keeps on going to the wrong shows. Dave keeps telling him to go the wrong ones on purpose.
No,
yeah. That was really convincing there, Dave.
All right.
Yeah, no, all right. As far as Deadpool 2 is concerned, just as good as the last one. I wouldn't say better, but just as good, which for movies these days is awesome, especially in a sequel. So,
okay.
So that's all I have to say. We need to get into spoilers to talk about it because there's just too many things.
Yes. All right. How about you, Montago?
I actually think it was a better film than the last one. Honestly, it gave you everything you had in the first one, but then they ramped it up and put a whole bunch of emotional things in it that made you better invested in some of the other characters in the film. And so because of that, I actually, after thinking about it, because it's been a few days now, I actually liked it better. And the comedy was about exactly the same. Some of the stuff hit you a little harder maybe the first time because you just wasn't ready. You didn't think they were going to do exactly what they were going to do. So especially with the beginning credits of the first one with all the goofy stuff happening and the scenes that they were showing in slow motion, it just was like, wow, what this is they're really doing it. But with this one, you knew that was going to happen. But, I still think because they brought the other stuff with the other characters in, with the emotional things they brought in, I think it made it a better movie. So I kind of liked it a little better than the first one.
Oh, we're going to have to talk. This is interesting. No, I really want to hear it. Go ahead, Dave. What do you think?
I kind of agree with you, John. I went in with, maybe I went in with really high expectations because I loved the first one so much and all the trailers were really great. And I wasn't disappointed with the movie, but I didn't walk out feeling like, oh, this was better than the first. You know, like you, I kind of like, this was just as good as the first, which to me was a win because, again, I really liked the first. So I couldn't, you know, it wasn't like seeing Empire Strikes Back after seeing, you know, the first one.
That seems to be like a holy grail of movies, and rarely do you ever get that. But. Right.
So, but again, I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. Anyone who's listening, who hasn't seen it yet, which is hard to believe because it's been out for 2 weeks, go out and see it, because we're about to get into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Right.
And I should say, this is not to disagree about it being better or just as good. This might be personal preference. This might be your predilection for liking or finding humor in the kind of jokes they do in Deadpool. But I think we can all agree that go see it. You know, don't be afraid.
So before we get to the spoilers, as we always do on the show, we like to talk about the numbers. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got an 82% critic score, 86% audience score. So far, it's made $499 million in the box office, which is $500 million, which is really good for an R-rated movie. And we ran a little poll today, asking our Twitter audience what they thought of Deadpool 2. The 4 options we gave them was, it was an unstoppable juggernaut. It was a tasty chimichanga. It was, Dupender needs his own movie, and as dead as Vanessa. So, I'm sorry, that was a spoiler.
Well,
kinda. We'll get into that. So the number one answer at 51% was tasty chimichanga. So you could tell they were all true Deadpool fans.
Mm-hmm.
The number 2 answer was 25%, an unstoppable juggernaut, and tied at 12% for the other 2. Mm-hmm. Dupender needs his own movie, and as dead as Vanessa. So, yeah, I think people liked it.
Okay. Let's do it.
Hold on. One other thing I wanted to add before I forget. I want to let our audience know that don't forget to check out superheroespeak.com for all of our latest episodes. Plus, we have lots of reviews and articles up there. Matt has been extra busy. Just put 3 new comic book reviews up. And also, we have restylized our Patreon. We've changed around the rewards. I think they're a lot better now. We have bonus content available on there. Is that better as in they exist now, or? No, they existed before, but they were really lousy rewards.
Yeah, that's right. Autographed pictures of you.
Yeah, exactly. And photocopies of your butt. No one wanted those. Then we had.
We at least have 3D glasses with those. So.
We have some exclusive art available on through the Patreon. Some behind the scenes art of our comic book that we released as a promotional thing, and then we also have books available. We have some digital comics as a reward, and you can also get JD's novel Hawk Hollow by becoming a member, and of course you can get other SHS merchandise like the SHS T-shirt and whatnot. And since I just plugged my website and Patreon, Montago, how about you tell people before we forget where they can find Fans of Patrol?
Okay, man, y'all got it going on with all that stuff. Goodness, you get nothing with Fans of Patrol except for listening. That's about it. But for everything Fans of Patrol, you can go to fansofpatrol.com. You can reach us directly via email at fans@fansofpatrol.com. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that's all at Fans of Patrol. You can listen to us on Stitcher, Satchel, Google Play, Podbeam, Apple Podcasts, Spotify is our newest one. And if you leave us a comment on any of those listening things, we'll shout you out, and our co-host Tiffany Bots, she'll read it out loud and make you famous. So that's how you can get to us. So thanks a lot for that, fellas.
No problem. All right. So now here we go. Again, like we said, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, you probably want to turn the podcast off at this point. Go see the movie and come back. Or if you don't care, here we go.
Here we go.
All right. Oh, and also warning, if you have small children, there will probably be cursing and foul sexual comments coming.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, we're doing a Deadpool movie, guys, so,
Be responsible.
Yeah, just keep your hands on the ends of your arms and take small children by the hair. Just be safe.
So this movie starts off like any good superhero movie. Deadpool kills himself. He blows himself up on a barrel of oil, and
they time shift a bit in the beginning, like they did in the original movie.
Yes.
In this case, at this point, it only lasts like maybe the first quarter of the movie. Maybe not even that. Just
I was a little worried when I saw this, honestly.
Really?
Because it was the same exact formula as the last movie, with the time shift. And I was like, don't do it. Don't have us go through half the movie and do the same thing you did the last time. Wasn't nothing wrong with the last time, but we don't want to see the same thing. But they didn't. So that was cool. So
Right. Well, I feel like the last time the whole scene on the bridge was their centerpiece to the whole movie. And
half the flick. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
and that's where the whole budget went. So they had to work the whole movie around it.
But it had to be, because that was the scene that was originally released by Ryan Reynolds on YouTube when they roughed it out.
Test footage, right? Yeah,
the test footage that got this whole ball rolling. So of course that, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was appropriate, and it was literally there. I'm thinking just to set up the credits, the beginning credits.
They caught up real quick. They caught up extremely quick, which I was cool, because he did a little, now this is where we are. And I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
I just go too far. I didn't want a whole half of the movie in the apartment again. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, please, don't do that.
Right.
Not again.
But the whole reason he kills himself is, spoiler, really interesting plot twist. They kill Vanessa off right at the beginning of the movie, and that sets up Deadpool being depressed through the rest of the movie.
Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that.
Right.
When they did that, I was like, damn. And to me, that's when the movie got good, because before it was just zany with all the killing and all the stuff and the Russians and all that stuff. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's funny. I was a little nervous about the movie at this point, though, because it was just like, are they going to just go hard doing this, or are they going to really give you, something that you want? And when she died, I was like, ooh, especially because his reaction, after she died,
Yeah. Well, and then the opening credits, which were just, what they did in the first Deadpool was revolutionary and just awesome and hysterical. And then this one, they doubled down with, after his girlfriend dies, it's, they open with produced by How Could You Do That? And directed by What the Hell Were You Thinking?
Right.
And it was a perfect opening, I mean, you couldn't even make that better with a baby dancing Groot. I mean,
I think it also right away sets up, this again is not your typical superheroes movie, and they're willing to do something crazy like that just to do it, which is basically perfect for Deadpool.
Yeah, basically no crazy ideas off the table.
Right, exactly.
And the thing I really liked about her dying is that it served a purpose, and instead of like a Whistler death, from Blade, you just did it just cause, I mean, it made no sense. But her death was like, it drove the whole thing more so as being something that happened. You know what I'm saying? It happens a lot. You're like, well, y'all didn't even have to do that shit. You could have rolled around that,
Yeah, but and like you say, it drove the whole plot. When the writing is that good, that you can say, oh, she died and it made sense.
Right.
I mean, you got to give the writers credit. I mean, that is, from a writing point of view, that's good stuff right there, you know?
I agree.
Yes. No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it drove forward all the events then after that, because, you know, he blows himself up, and then Colossus puts his body parts in a bag and drags him to the X Mansion.
Where much silliness ensues. Everything that you think would happen with Deadpool in the X Mansion, yeah, that happened.
Hilarious, dude. The X-Men being in another room and didn't want him to see him.
Oh, when
Yeah.
that scene happened, they have a, yeah, okay, so for our fans, because this is spoilers, so, you know, screw you. They had a scene where Deadpool was talking about, you know, you think that the what is it?
Studio.
Yeah, the studio could get more money and throw us a bone this time around. And right behind him, they flashed to a shot of him on the side, and right behind him was an open door with all of the X-Men from X-Men, the Days of Future Past, in that room, and the door just slowly closed.
That was great. That was worth it right there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, just a lot of stuff. He takes a ride on Professor Xavier's wheelchair. He's lounging around with Cerebro on his head, but not the Cerebro from First Class or Days of Future Past, the Cerebro from the original X-Men trilogy.
And he says that it smells like Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
While he's wearing the Kitty T-shirt.
I didn't even notice that, but he's a house guest from hell, man. Get him the hell out of here, because he was terrible, man.
He gooses Colossus. I mean, it was, you know, it was wonderful.
We got introduced to teenage Negasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
Right.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right.
Thought she would kill my nerves, and that joke never got old to me. I'm sorry. It should have got old. It wasn't that funny, but for some reason it cracked.
I know,
Hi,
right?
Deadpool.
It's like, you know, you keep switching to this 5 seconds of, oh, cute Japanese girl, hello. I'm probably saying it wrong. She's Japanese Australian, so it's okay. But just like you go from Deadpool to, hiya, how are you?
Hey, Wade. Hey, Yu-Gi-Oh. Hey, Wade.
She might as well have been Sailor Moon. It's just, you know.
It made me laugh. It was good.
Yeah. Now, okay, me being the DC guy, I don't know what character she played, but she was a mutant or a superhero or something.
She's a mutant. Her character's so small it wasn't even worth mentioning. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She's nobody really. They just a gimme. Let's grab that character because we can do anything we want to do with that character and nobody would care. That's who she was.
Awesome.
Well, I kind of like a lot of the tertiary characters they introduced fall in that vein. We'll get that in a second.
Yeah, right.
So her character was Surge, because there was some debate as to whether she was playing Surge or Psylocke, but I'm thinking they wouldn't, like you said, if it's a throwaway character, I wouldn't think they'd throw away Psylocke on that. That just...
No, they had Psylocke in the movies already, played by, what's her name?
Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, she wasn't replacing Olivia Munn. That's an odd thought. I'm not sure where that came from.
I don't know. I didn't hear the Psylocke.
It came from the internet, so.
Well,
internet, you guys.
I mean, I don't remember exactly where. It could have been Reddit. It could have been 4chan. Could have been Tumblr. I have no idea.
Perhaps.
So yeah, perhaps. Oh, hey! I know where that came from. All right. So yeah, the movie progressed pretty quickly, and I loved the mansion. The kid that he's supposed to save was not your typical hero type person, and he played angry evil pretty good. and then I don't know, Deadpool losing his powers, which progressed the way you'd think it would, with losing his life to cancer very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would have thought that Deadpool couldn't have his powers taken away because, I didn't know if they were working under the guise of, he'd been cursed with immortality by Thanos, which would trump the mutant power taker awayer belt or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not going with that angle, and that's something that was kind of introduced later in the comics. But yeah, they're really just kind of going with his mutant ability at this point. I mean, you skipped over the whole scene at the Essex house.
Yeah, that was pretty slick with a Fire Fist, young little Fire Fist starting all that shit and keeping all them people at bay. I thought that was a cool scene, and I actually thought this damn kid was gonna get on my nerves, y'all. You know what I'm saying? When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh God, another little kid who's supposed to be a badass. But this kid was pretty good, man. I mean, because he was playing damage more than he was playing I'm such a badass, and then he was so ridiculous, trying to be a badass because he wasn't a badass, So, but I liked him, man. It was a Julian Dennison. I thought he was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he would look at the camera, or and make that "I'm gonna kill you," and you're like, oh, he's pretty scary. And then he would do something like you'd think a kid that age would do, something really stupid, yeah, and kid-like, and he played it really well. Okay, find the biggest, baddest person I can find in this prison they put me in. So what?
Me up every single time.
Yeah. Oh, but to go back to the scene that you guys wanted to finish up, yeah, it didn't go the way the X-Men thought with their quote unquote trainee.
Dude,
I mean, who the hell thinks Deadpool's going to make an X-Man? Come on.
He had that jersey on, man. That was hilarious, man.
Which it was kind of a nod to the X-Men costume that he had at one point in the comics with the yellow in it.
Dude, it was hilarious, especially how hype he was and stuff, and talking all that crap. Had the jersey on. They kept calling him a trainee. It was funny, man. Good filmmaking.
It's funny, like I liked the one part in it, but it's also my one minor complaint about the movie, and that's he says the same speech Colossus gives in the first one, where he's like 4 or 5 moments, that's all it takes to be a hero.
I forgot about that. That was a good one.
And then he ends the speech by shooting the guy in the head anyway, which is what he did in Deadpool.
It was still funny, man.
But so that's kind of, though, like, I felt at times, and it's not 100% throughout the movie, but at times it seemed like it relied heavily on the first movie and callbacks to the first movie. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, did that bother you guys at all?
Not really. Go ahead. What do you think?
I just look at it like that, it's like dealing with your buddy, his personality,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to take my buddy into this house because he always gets upset and he wants to fight everybody, so that's just Deadpool, yeah, he repeated the speech and he repeated the behavior because that is who he is. And so you put a fox into the hen house, he's going to, try to eat all the chickens and stuff. And so there he was doing what's predictable, because he is predictable. Even though he's unpredictable, he's going to be unpredictable. So I just thought it was him being him.
And poor Colossus sitting there thinking, oh my God, he's going to do it. He's going to choose good. He's going to, oh my God, what did he just do?
Pretty good range for a CG character. Huh? I mean, as far as acting and whatnot, they did a pretty good job with Colossus, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, Andy Serkis in his role was very good.
What? It was not Andy Serkis.
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, what?
I just assume they're all Andy Serkis these.
No, not this time. Stefan, I can't say, that's a very Russian name. Kapiki, he's the voice of Colossus from the last 2 movies.
Yeah, but they must. Who's in the bodysuit? Is it him too?
No, I don't think. Okay,
it's not. I thought it was the same guy.
Huh.
That was. I thought it was.
Oh, maybe it is then. All right.
Stefan Kapicic?
That's it.
Okay. Yeah. He does. He looks like a big guy. He might be. He was in the suit, sure.
Sure, it's just a motion capture suit.
Oh, wait a minute. That's definitely not him. Because I watched the behind the scenes thing before on the first movie. That's definitely not the guy that was acting in the field. So,
yeah, that's what I thought. So then they after he shoots him, they get arrested. They put the collar on him, and they take him to the ice house, as they call it, which is again that is a location from the comics. In the comics, it's located in Canada. They didn't say anything about that, where it was located in this movie. And as John pointed out, I thought that was great writing. Like, they didn't ignore it. Like, he immediately starts dying from cancer again.
I thought that was great too. I mean, that was I didn't even, when it started happening, I was like, oh, you have no power. So I'm thinking the whole time, are they gonna let him die, or are they gonna like take it off so he can rejuvenate? You know what I'm saying? How far were they gonna go with that? I mean, as in the story, like if they would have left it on him, that's all I was thinking.
Right.
In the movie.
That's actually a good point. Like, what would the prison guards have done? Like, just let him die in the cell, or take it off for a couple hours so he can rejuvenate, put it back on so he can serve out his sentence.
They didn't appear to give a shit about any of them. Like every man for himself up in there. So,
Yeah.
But,
I mean, they didn't check Fire Fist's prison wallet, so.
Oh, God, that was disgusting. I'm sorry.
God. Yeah.
I can hear you rummaging around in there.
That was a funny line. That kid was so earnest when he first got there about protecting Deadpool and being one-on-one with him, and he just rejected him so bad, turned him into a villain. I'm like, oh boy, that was predictable. It was cool. I mean, come on, how serious is it going to be with a Deadpool movie?
Right. Yes. So yeah, he in the lunchroom he's eating, and Fire Fist says, "Oh, you take out the biggest guy." That's the first rule in prison, right?
Yep. So what does he do? A few scenes later, he goes to the basement and finds, dun dun dun, Juggernaut.
Yeah, he stayed true to his mission, right? Find the biggest dude, even though that wasn't the biggest dude.
Well, no. See, yeah. Again, you're skipping ahead, John. You're missing.
Well, yeah, but we don't have to go over it like every freaking scene.
Yes, but that's I think an important plot point in the movie is he wants to like take down the biggest guy with a pen, and it doesn't work out, and they gets the crap beat out of him. And Wade's lesson to him is, don't try to take out the biggest guy, try to befriend the biggest guy, so then they'll protect you. Right.
Yeah.
And that's when he goes to the basement with a tray of food, and
with that childlike innocence, like, oh, he's the biggest guy. Him and I, we're best buds now. It's like, I gave him some food. He likes me.
It totally worked.
I know.
Worked a little too well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, and
it makes you wonder though, because how are they keeping him? This is just comic book talking, but how are they keeping Juggernaut down there? Because technically his power isn't a mutant power; it's from a gem or something, right?
Yeah, it's magic.
Yeah, it's magic, but it actually comes from. There's a demon that gives him his powers.
Yeah,
and makes him his representation on Earth and a force of destruction. So he's invulnerable. So
what they have, like demon edition Febreze down there or something? Just spray the demon out.
Or maybe he doesn't need to eat because he's a demon.
Well, in the comic, he has to gain momentum to use his power. So he can't just he has to start moving. So maybe they had him restrained because they never showed you really what going.
Well, he was able to reach for the tray.
He was
all the momentum he needs. Technically, from canon that I know of, anyway.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
Uh-oh.
We lose somebody?
no, I thought we lost you.
It sounded like, okay, I think we all stopped talking at the same moment. That's weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on.
No, but I did like, hold on. I like the fact that they didn't show Juggernaut right away either. Like, they waited to pull him out, you know? So
well, maybe that's because they were letting people's imaginations go back to the Juggernaut of, was it X-Men 3?
Tell you though, if it wasn't for the internet spoiling that stuff, man, I wasn't sure, because it seemed like he was in one scene like he was like a creature or something, you know, like the arm looked hairy or something. I was like, you know, like furry. I was like, is that? I know they said the Juggernaut is in there, so I started even doubting myself. I think the director did a really good job in you know, holding that as long as he possibly could. You saw a little arm, you saw like a back of a shoulder. You know, it wasn't until later where they revealed him, and it was like, oh, yeah, damn good job. But thank you, internet, for, you know, screwing it up. And it was like bigger news sources that screwed that up. You know, Juggernaut possibly in Deadpool. I'm like, why would y'all do that, assholes? But anyway,
at least he didn't come out and say, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." As long as they didn't repeat that, I'm good.
I didn't mind Juggernaut that bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mind.
But it also, while we're at the prison, this is when Cable finally shows up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Thanos did a really good job of playing Cable in this.
Yeah.
They even mentioned, I mean, the makeup was good enough that you couldn't catch even a hint of purple. He must have lost a lot of weight for the role too, because you know, he looked a lot smaller.
He looked good. He surprised me, man. He really, really surprised me, because I didn't want him as Cable. I didn't mind him as Cable, but no, I really wanted the guy from the Avatar. What's his name? Lang? Is it? What's his first name? You know, the guy that played the bad guy in the Avatar. Forgot his name. Something Lane.
Zuko? Oh, wrong Avatar. Sorry.
No.
The Fire Lord?
But I didn't really want him, and then, you know, once I started seeing pictures of him, I was like, oh shoot, now he's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But he was instead of, you know, other than his height, he was perfect, man. Damn, he was good. I didn't see Josh Brolin. I saw Cable the whole time, especially with the gadgets and all the shit he had. He was definitely Cable.
Yeah, the technovirus taking over his body that he's holding back constantly. That's, you know, it was really good. And his acting was spot on. He was basically the disgruntled straight man, I guess you'd call him.
Yeah, I mean,
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, there are some people online who are grumbling and complaining that because they didn't go into his backstory that much, but he has a very complicated backstory. How could you have covered that, you know, in a 2-hour movie? And
I agree.
Which is the difference between Marvel and DC, because DC would have tried and Marvel said, hey, it's Cable, you all know him.
Yep.
Well, you don't need to know it. You can reveal it in little snippets if they keep going forward with the character in more movies, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, you don't even, you know, if you even decide to spin him off, you can spin him off right from this movie, you know, because it wasn't so ridiculous, you know. Only Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, so you don't even have to worry about it, right? You know?
Right.
And that actor I was talking about was Stephen Lang from the Avatar. If anybody.
Oh, right.
I wanted him to be Cable, but bravo, Josh Brolin.
Yes, he proved he can play a Titan and a guy from the future with a technovirus.
Which role do y'all like better?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know. Is he I don't think he's a method actor, but he's really good because, like you said, when he was Cable, he was Cable, and when he was Thanos, he played up the emotional angles of the play on moralities there really well. So I don't think I'd mind Josh Brolin in anything else either. They keep giving him roles at this point. He could play half of the Marvel Universe villains for all I care.
Yeah, only thing that was missing was Death walking around in the event. That would have been it, But yeah, dude, I'm trying to think of which one was better, man. That whole scene with Gamora kicking her off the curb, kicking her to the curb and stuff. It's just like, damn. I'm a CG character doing all this acting and stuff.
I don't know. In a movie where the main character meta references a death battle on YouTube between Deadpool and Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony, I think having Death wandering around in a sexy lingerie outfit would have just been a little over the top.
Actually, in all honesty, I thought, going back a little bit to the Vanessa thing, when Deadpool dies and he's in, they don't really explain what it is, we'll call it limbo, and he sees Vanessa there, like, I thought they were going to throw Lady Death in. I honestly was waiting for it.
What do you mean, like Spirit type death? Have you ever seen The Spirit? Because Lady Death was in there. It was not fun.
Read a comic.
But, okay, what were you going to say before I rudely interrupted, which I am really good at?
I think he was talking to you, Montago.
Oh, yeah. Montego, sorry.
I said what I had to say. I was fine, man. I was just, that was it. But no, I'm good.
Yeah. But that would have been, it would have been a cool twist, even if they just had like a robed figure walking around and you'd be like, oh, that's Death. But no, it didn't happen.
I'm sure maybe they made a reference somewhere, but, almost like Ready Player One, there are so many references in this that you'd have to watch the movie a few times to catch them all.
Yeah.
There's so many throwaway lines that, if you're not really hip to all of the comic book, fandom and the backstories and all that, you'll miss half of it.
True. I will definitely agree to that. All right. So where were we? We know that Cable, something happens to him in the future. He travels back in time. First, actually coming across two Hicks in the country talking, who happen to be. Do you guys remember who the two actors are?
Dude, I did not know that was Matt Damon, dude.
Yes.
Oh wow, really?
Matt
How
Damon
did I miss that?
And Alan Tudyk.
Is Matt Damon going to be in every one of these now?
I think so.
Is he going to be a watcher? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Alan Tudyk was in it too, man. I love both of those actors, man. I did not realize it until after we did our show. We were doing our show, and I was like, what? So that's awesome. I was wondering why they was giving them so much screen time too,
Yeah. Alan Tudyk is amazing. He's another guy where he takes on the role of the actor really seriously. He basically, any role he plays, he becomes. So
right.
I can't believe I missed that. Damn it.
Yeah,
okay.
There were actually news reports that came out and said that Matt Damon was so unrecognizable under the makeup that after he came out of the makeup trailer, he walked onto set and no one knew who he was. They did not recognize him.
So he decided to take it home and go for a walk with it, right?
Probably. But yeah, no, that like there were crew members who were, when they found out who it was, they were completely shocked. So
that's awesome.
I didn't recognize him at all, and I'm telling you, wow. Either one.
But all right, so let's get to the superhero introductions. That Deadpool goes to put together a team.
Well, first. We were getting to. You're jumping ahead. We were getting to.
I know we don't have to
Cable shows up at the prison, and all hell breaks loose. Because you're totally missing. How did Deadpool get out of prison?
I'm just trying to get to Zazie Beetz. That's all.
With that fine ass. Go ahead.
Oh my God, she's awesome.
All right, so they have a big brawl in the prison. And of course, Deadpool gets out. Cable leaves. He's there to get Fire Fist, but he fails at his mission and he leaves. And that's when Deadpool decides he's going to put together a super duper team.
This is one of the best parts of the movie, man. Just I like the audition scene they had with bringing these cats in. Nobody was rejected except for Dohinder. Nobody was rejected except for him, man.
The best is when Peter gets accepted and Dupender's like standing behind him and he's like, "Oh crap,
this is bullshit."
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
But if I remember correctly, in the comic books, Peter is actually a super spy with a mutant power of knife hands or something, right?
Well,
knife fingers. That's
what they had us all believe because they never say his last name in the movie, and then the actor created a Twitter account for the character called Pete W, and the character in the comics is Pete Wisdom. So that's whoever everyone thought he was, but no.
Did you guys see that actor, Rob Delaney?
He's
nothing like that dude. I mean, talk about makeup and gaining some weight for the role, man.
Well, if they can hide Alan Tudyk and freaking whatever from us,
right?
Matt Damon, then damn it, whoever's doing the makeup for this show they need to win an award.
I agree with you. I agree 100% because you couldn't even recognize these actors underneath this stuff, man.
Yeah, no CGI. It's all practical effect. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
you couldn't recognize the Vanisher at all.
I didn't even know that was Brad Pitt until Tifflebot told me on our show.
Okay. So he gets together all these teams. Where there's Shatterstar, the Vanisher, Domino, Zazie Beetz, and Peter. And who was there? Somebody else?
Yeah, the guy.
He was Bedlam.
Oh yeah, Bedlam, and
the guy that spits acid.
Yes. Shoot. This is what I was talking about earlier. These are like such minor characters, and I'm sure that they all have fans out there that are like, "Oh no, I love him," but
well, wait a minute. You say minor, but you know that I am not steeped in Marvel culture. I did not collect those comic books way back when I was full on DC, and I remember Shatterstar and I remember Domino. Like they were bigger back then.
Well, Domino, but they didn't. Domino doesn't have the same fate as everyone else.
Yeah, I remember Domino. I don't remember Shatterstar and Zygus. That was Bill Skarsgård, man. I didn't even know that was him.
Yeah, Skarsgårding harder than any Skarsgård has ever Skarsgårded before.
I mean, damn. These people just like signing up for this little stuff, but that's cool. Whatever.
Right. So yes, he can spit acid, Bedlam, and it was just like, and they showed scenes with Shatterstar and Bedlam in the previews that were not in the movie, and it has come out now that they were shot specifically for the trailer to throw people off.
Bravo, because that's good.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just saying that's just good, man. I'm glad because I hate trailers, even though I do a podcast and stuff like that. Trailers ruin movies all the time, except for Disney do a good job with Star Wars and the Marvel properties. But other than that, they destroy these movies half the time and stuff.
Yeah, so. They need to stop with the giving away the entire plot or major plot points, because I'm from a time way back when there were not trailers like that. There were movie posters, and that was it.
Yeah.
And when you walked in, because these days, if they did Empire Strikes Back these days, you'd know who the father was like weeks, months before you walked into the theater.
Immediately, right.
Yeah, there's nothing like coming out of that theater with a whole bunch of people looking around the world going, nothing makes sense anymore. and also thinking, did he really make out with his sister?
Yeah, exactly.
But also, the Vanisher, Brad Pitt.
Right. So yes,
but you only got to see him for like half a second.
I was about to say they form their super duper group. They're on their helicopter to stop Cable from stopping the convoy and stealing. And they're going to parachute out. And of course, they talk about the high winds. and Deadpool looks at the camera and goes, "Foreshadowing."
I didn't even realize that was.
And of course, well, the important thing is while he's on the helicopter, he goes, "X-Men is too sexist. We're going to be X-Force." and Domino's, isn't that a little derivative?
Yeah, that again ruined by promos, but
yes.
All right, so they all die, which actually.
So they all die. Well, no, they don't all die. Domino.
Moving on. They died.
That is, gone. I think the absolute. So the importance of the scene, them jumping out of the helicopter and then all being killed, is such an important scene where like they're saying there are people pissed off, they don't get it. It's funny. There were two things that apparently the test audiences didn't like: them killing Vanessa early in the movie, and the scene where like they went through the bother of putting together this team, and they're all killed as soon as they jump off the helicopter, except for a couple of them.
I thought it was masterful, man.
Exactly. Like, you don't get Deadpool then. You just don't understand the character. Move along.
Right. And besides, like we said before, Vanessa dying moved the entire movie.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, without that, you really wouldn't have cared. It would have been a bunch of zaniness and, that was a bunch of fun, and you immediately walk out and forget everything you saw. But because it had a heart, Vanessa dying actually gave the movie a heart, man. Yeah. And these guys dying was just couldn't have been more unexpected by anybody. I didn't expect that shit. I was like, that is great. So now it's just these two people, Domino with her fine ass, Deadpool, and then they kept doing the X-Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why are people complaining? Zazie survived. She made it. And they played the... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's the only one that needed to survive.
Yeah. And they played her luck really well.
Right.
Ooh, it was good, man. That was good movie making right there.
So Shatterstar gets sucked into the blades of a helicopter.
That was nasty.
Vanisher hits electrical lines, and that's when it's revealed that it's Brad Pitt. So
I didn't even get it in the movie. It went right past me.
Yeah. Of course, Peter lands on his feet, but then Zeitgeist falls into a wood chipper. Did anyone notice the name of the company on the wood chipper?
Nah.
It was Geppetto.
Oh, God.
That's terrible.
And so Peter tries to pull Zeitgeist out of the wood chipper, and that's when he spits acid all over Peter and melts him.
That was pretty bad. I like Sugar Bear, man.
Sugar Bear. Oh, my God. One of the guys I work with said, so many people are going to be dressed as Sugar Bear this Halloween. And I was like, Sugar Bear? He's like, Peter. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's so totally unexpected, but worked so well, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then we get our fun fight on the caravan, with, Deadpool, referencing X-Men Wolverine Origins or Origins Wolverine and him cutting a bullet in half.
And then missing almost all of the rest.
That shit was hilarious.
I mean, yes. Yes, it was in the trailer, but it was still funny.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's just another scene that was ruined because it was, shown in the trailers where you could have gotten a really good laugh in the theaters for that. But
fortunately, I did not see that in the trailers, so it was fresh for me. And I'm rolling. I don't know how I missed it in the trailers because I think because normally I only watch the first trailer and then I don't watch any. And
I was going to say, where in the Adirondacks do you live? Because, are you up in Appalachia somewhere?
I only watched the first trailer. Well, even on our show, when second trailers and stuff come around, I'll post them for the show and stuff, but I won't watch the second ones. You're not going to do it to me. So that was fresh for me. I didn't even see it. So I was cracking up. I thought it was great.
Yeah, you watch a lot of TV or a lot of YouTube. There's no way to get around it.
Okay.
They plaster it at you.
Yes, and John watches a lot of YouTube. So, and then also during that fight, the thing was, they made the whole joke about Domino's power being luck, and it's not very cinematic, and yet, like, that the whole Domino sequence is just brilliance.
My favorite part of the movie for me was watching her powers, dude. It just was mesmerizing how they did it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she lands in the truck, and the guy points the gun, and the gun doesn't work. She beats him up and takes over the truck, and she's like,
great. It was great.
and she's like, I'm in, and he's like, what? You're in.
But the thing is, her attitude through the whole thing is, I guess the best descriptive word would be nonplussed. It's like, okay, I'm doing this now. Okay, that happened.
Right.
I need to get this done. Okay, well, there it goes.
But that's perfect for somebody who would have lived with that mutant power their whole life.
You look used to it. I agree with you 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they show people surprised by their powers, it's like,
yep.
It's like, no, that's stupid. So then obviously during this fight is when we got our final big reveal of Juggernaut. And of course our favorite Merc with a Mouth gushes over him. Oh, I love you, Juggernaut.
He started naming the comic book numbers and titles. It was great.
Oh God!
And then he picks him up and goes, "I'm going to rip you in half now." That's such a Juggernaut thing and then he actually rips him in half. Like,
yeah, it was good, man. I like the Juggernaut reveal, man. And even though the character did look super CG-ish, I liked it, man. I thought it was look real good, man. Just the whole thing with. Go ahead.
No. I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
I'm used to it. I'm the interrupter, so it's all good.
Well, I was going to say they reference that later. When Deadpool turns the camera and goes, and now it's a big CGI fight.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome, dude.
Do you guys know who played Juggernaut?
I do not.
Brad Pitt again?
No. It was
Andy Serkis.
It was Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
Oh.
It was his voice and his face that they used.
Good for him. That's all right, man.
So
Ever.
And I honestly think they did it because he really is one of his favorite characters. So
that's good, man. Throw some fans in the mix and you get magic. Throw some actors who don't give a shit and you get stoic garbage. So
are you listening, DC? Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, Ben Affleck is a huge Batman fan, but I liked his Batman. So,
Yeah, no, he was good. It's just they did not use him properly. So
no, I mean we talked about that on this show before too, where it's like they have Ben Affleck and was it Jeff Johns wrote a script for the solo Batman movie. Of course.
And threw it like.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers like, nah, we don't want this. And it's just like, okay, an Academy Award winner who loves Batman and one of the top DC comic writers, and you told them no.
No, it's not cinematic. No, get that shit out of here. No.
I want to see that script made. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Off topic here.
Yes, back to the Merc with a Mouth. Then that leads us to the most disturbing scene in the whole movie. Back to Blinddale's apartment. Second time we were at Blinddale's, we did skip over the first time he was there, when he went to get some cocaine that he had left stored next to the cure for blindness.
When he did the
Which was
LeBron-
referenced.
From the first movie, right?
Dude, when he did the LeBron James with the cocaine. That shit. That was hilarious. Dude.
But yeah, so the most disturbing scene is he's wearing this was a cool throwback again for Josh Brolin and Goonies. He's wearing the same shirt that Chunk wears in Goonies.
Is that right? You are right. It was. Look, I'm just not realizing. You are right.
Oh, I looked up all the Easter eggs already. I didn't realize this when I was watching it. But he's got baby legs.
Oh, that was nasty. That just looked bad.
Again, another throwback joke from the first one. Last time it was a baby hand.
Right.
This time it was baby legs. And he Basic Instinct Cable.
Yeah, that was nasty. I didn't need that.
Yeah, there is going too far. I said it, okay?
Yeah, I didn't need that shit in my mind. It's stuck there, too. It's right there. Never going away.
Damn you, Deadpool!
See, I had blocked it out again, and I was going to completely skip over that, but Dave here decided to go ahead and talk about it again.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty, y'all. Pretty nasty.
Yeah, sorry.
So moving on.
Right.
So that's when they decide to work together.
Except for Depender.
Except for Depender, to try to stop the kid from killing everyone at the Essex house, so that he doesn't turn into the villain. Well, Cable's going to give Deadpool 30 seconds, right? Was that what the deal was?
Yeah.
30 to talk him down. That's it. That's all you got.
And of course, craziness ensues. Depender, Deadpool. Oh wait, that's right. They did get first he went to the X Mansion to make up with Colossus.
That was a Say Anything reference, right?
Yes, of course.
Yep, with the
mini boom box.
with the cell phone, actually.
Yeah.
Which was a like, okay, they've done this in so many TV shows and so many movies. Like, all right, I'll give you that one. But
yeah, and just as an aside from there, hey Yuki.
Yes, yeah. Again. That's it was like the second or third time we got the joke.
Pause the movie. Hi Yuki. Bye Yuki.
I still laugh.
So they go to the Essex house. Domino, Cable, Deadpool, and Depender. They walk up, and that's when Fire Fist and Juggernaut walks up, and Depender decides to go wait in the cab.
He told him he was going to grab the cab driver and F him in the butt.
Well, yeah.
Cab driver. So he was like, I'm too soft for this. I'm out. So he left, man. He's like, okay, that's it. Shit.
But he wants to be a contract killer.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the things, too. I think, did you talk about this on your show where, like, they gave him somewhat of more of a character arc this time around?
Oh, yeah, we love Depender, man. I mean, just with all his admiration, you're living the dream, DP, and, and then he was all pissed off with the people, not choosing them. Then he get to do the superhero slow walk, and then he just cowers out. It takes off. But who wouldn't have? That dude just gonna take your whole body and screw somebody with it, man. I'm out, man. Depender's so earnest in everything he does, man. I love him, man. I'm glad he in the movie. Keep him in the damn.
So
he was in Ghostbusters, but that was terrible.
So that's when we have our big CGI fight between Colossus and Juggernaut. And I'm going to say something here that might be controversial.
Okay, here we go.
So I think the CGI fight between Colossus and Juggernaut was better than the CGI fight between Black Panther and Killmonger in Black Panther.
Yeah, that is controversial. I disagree. I disagree.
I might disagree with that on one premise, that with Juggernaut and Colossus, because of the weird proportions, you weren't hit so much with the uncanny valley problem as you were with the with Black Panther and his buddy.
His buddy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he eventually he agreed with them and did everything that the guy was fighting for. So yeah, it was his buddy. But yeah, seriously.
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. After you, sir.
I think the sound effects did it, man. I mean, they had all the heavy, thumping and bumping. So if you want to, I thought you was gonna say it was better than Batman v Superman, the CGI fight.
Oh, anything's better than that.
I would with that. But I did like the CGI fight, man, because the sound effects made it. Because these suckers, they're about 2 tons a piece, maybe 4 tons for the Juggernaut, 2 tons for Colossus, and that's I think the sound effects and the CGI was tight. It wasn't even like weak, so it was a good fight, man. It was believable, right? That's all we want, right?
Right. I don't think they didn't concentrate on it a lot because there was so much other stuff going on. You only got a couple seconds here, a couple seconds there with that fight, just enough to keep you interested in watching it and not enough where you can say, hey, you know what? That didn't look quite right. That was a little too uncanny valley, as John likes to say.
Yeah, watching it again, you might see every flaw in the world, but in the theater, it was great.
Yes. So Deadpool decides to talk to Fire Fist. We're not going to go into detail of everything that happens, but he puts on the collar again to suppress his powers, to say, hey, look, I don't really get, why did he do it in the first place?
Because Cable was going to kill him because he killed his wife.
That's right. Yeah, so
Cable stopped, so he was like, I got to do something because this kid is a dead. He was responsible for him 100%.
Right.
He treated him like shit, and he told him to go find the biggest dude and be friends with him. So, dude. And he was, he got kicked out of heaven by Vanessa.
Right. So he puts the collar on, he takes the bullet for the kid, and that makes the kid decide to be good. And we get the longest comedic death scene in comic book movie history.
Okay, this is too long.
Too far. It was too far. I was a little tired of it.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. And I've heard it from other people that, and scenes like that are really hard to figure out. There's that Amazon Prime show, Ms. Maisel or whatever it is, about the comedian, and they talked about scenes like that where comedians, you hold a joke for so long that it becomes unfunny and then becomes funny again. But it's you have to be a true artist to figure out how to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And I think they held it on thinking that it would get stupid and then get funny again. And it didn't quite make it over the finish line for funny again.
Yeah,
I'm agree with you.
Yeah, it's actually something they do on Family Guy a lot, where they just keep the joke going till it comes around to funny again. It doesn't always get there.
There's a risk. They took it. I'm not mad at them. It's all good.
I was waiting for the Jim Carrey over the top stuff that he did in Mask when he was dying. Hoss and Little John and all that stuff, but
it was funny for a minute,
for a minute.
Tried to die, and then he woke back up like, oh, I'm not dead yet. That was funny, but then he did it again.
But he was dead. He was true dead at that point.
He was true dead. He finally got into heaven with Vanessa, and he's talking to her.
And then Cable screws it up.
And Cable decides to save his life.
Right.
Stupid Cable. Making it so we can have a Deadpool 3.
Uses his device, goes, well, he wasn't going to die. Come on. Uses his device, goes back in time, which was an odd choice. Goes back in time right before they show up, and he puts something on Deadpool's jacket that saves his life.
What's the point from Vanessa?
But the way it was explained to us was, the farther you try to go with the device, the more unstable it becomes. So he made the shortest trip he could to be, to have like a 99% chance of showing up right when he needed to.
I honestly thought he was going to go back in time and shoot the guy from the Essex house, who was running it and torturing the kids, instead of shooting Deadpool. Like, that was an interesting twist that they did, I thought.
Yeah, it was definitely unpredictable. You didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming.
Right. Yes, because, that guy does get killed by the X-Force contract killer, Dupender, finally.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest scenes in the movie. He gets out. He's so full of glee when he does it.
Yeah, he's got issues.
They were going to let him live, too. And he's like, yeah.
Also, I kind of... so real quick, the Juggernaut fight, they end up defeating Juggernaut in a way.
Booty cheeks, with the booty cheeks.
They gave him an electric enema.
I didn't care for that either. I don't need to see that. I did not need to see that.
And he sinks into like this big pool that's there. And I only mention that because someone pointed out online, and I have to go see the movie again to verify this, you can see his helmet start to rise up out of the water and in that last shot. Yeah.
I think it did. I think I remember seeing something back there, because I was looking to see if he was going to do the old Jason the Friday 13th thing,
right.
And it never happened. But he's a magical helmet, so lay off. It's cool. He's just knocked out.
Right, because nothing can stop the Juggernaut.
Goddamn right.
So that's where the movie ends, right? And everyone's happy?
That's what we thought.
Well, she's still dead, so...
No, she's not.
Oh, he goes to heaven. That's right. He goes back to heaven.
We're in major spoiler territory now.
So So in a brilliant twist of the after credits scene that I've ever seen, they have Yuki, Negasonic and Yuki fix the time machine or the time device that Cable has and give it to Deadpool.
And they're both like, what have we done? Why did we do that?
Jacked up majorly.
And Deadpool goes back in time, and the first thing he does is he saves Vanessa's life.
But no, he's not done then.
Oh, well, no, of course. Then he goes and he saves Peter's life, because, he was the most important member of X-Force.
I think that's the only one he saved.
It was.
Yeah, that was weird.
Then he corrects a timeline and saves us all.
Well, he saved us twice.
Yes.
First, he goes back to, I guess, the set of Logan was it
X-Men Wolverine?
X-Men Wolverine Origins. Yeah, and takes out Deadpool from that timeline. I guess it's not just a time machine or whatever; it's a time and space machine, dimension machine. So he goes and takes out that Deadpool because, well, we all would have done that. It would be that Deadpool and then Hitler, and then he does this even one more solid beyond that, and goes and shoots Ryan Reynolds just as he's reading the script for Green Lantern.
Forgot all about that. DC want their ring back for that too, right?
Yes, that was a big thing on the internet. They want their ring back.
Give me back my shit. He's making fun of us.
Well, the best part is the dead Ryan Reynolds falls over, Deadpool standing there, and he goes, "You're welcome, Canada." And then he walks off screen. apparently, the article I read said they filmed a bunch of after credit scenes for the movie, and those were the 4 that they decided to go with.
So make sure you get the Platinum Edition.
That's right.
And the director has come out and said that all of those scenes are canon.
Oh, really?
So Vanessa will be back.
Ain't that something? I just thought they was just being zany. I didn't know it was canon. Wow. Okay.
Well, it's Deadpool.
Well,
Anything's possible.
Well, what happened to Logan then?
What do you mean what happened to Logan? He just didn't have that fight. That's all.
Well, yeah, but that fight is what got him to the point where he was shot and lost his memory. So now he doesn't lose his memory?
Maybe not.
It'll happen some other way.
Yes.
That fight won't happen, but he'll get his memory.
When it comes to Deadpool, you don't ask details.
Well, look, based on the Heisenberg principle, never mind.
Because
it's timey-wimey shit, fine.
Because if Deadpool goes back in time and saves Vanessa, then he never blows himself up. Thus, he never goes to the X Mansion. Thus, he never goes on the mission and meets Fire Fist and gets put in the prison. Thus, he never meets Cable. Thus, he never gets the time machine.
So we really are talking about a multiverse.
There you
go. He created the Marvel multiverse.
That's pretty good, right? Because there's no Cable now. Now what?
So yes, so that was Deadpool 2. I would say by all the laughter that we enjoyed it.
Oh, I enjoyed the movie. I can't wait to see it again.
I would say that there were a couple of scenes there. I know Deadpool's all gross out and stuff, but there were a couple of scenes there that maybe were just a little too far, and I'm not worried so much. I'm not that worried, but I am a little bit worried that they might go too far at one point. You know, I mean, I never liked the really gross out movies that are just there to be gross out. So, you know, I understand there's going to be a level of childish butt humor, but the baby legs thing was funny. The basic instinct crossing of the legs, not so funny. Again, this might be just me, because I come from a puritanical family way back when, but I can laugh at a fart joke, but you gotta watch out and not go too far with that stuff.
I get what you're saying, but again, you don't know what the future holds, because we also don't know where Deadpool's going to end up at this point. You know,
in the Marvel universe,
it's all about contracts now, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you got Comcast messing stuff up right now.
Yes.
Well, that's right, because he literally could wind up in the Marvel universe,
or he could end up staying in his own universe, because the company you work for, John, might
I don't know what you're talking about.
Might buy Fox instead.
Hey, Papa needs a new pair of shoes.
So yeah, we'll have to see where he ends up. I mean, it looks like most likely it's going to stay with Disney, and then who knows what's going to happen. Disney has come out and said they probably will continue to make Deadpool and other R-rated movies, but they might not put the Disney logo on them.
You think?
So
I'd like to see that Deadpool movie start with Tinkerbell. I can't imagine what they do to Tinkerbell, but I'd like to see it.
Listen, man, in a world where Kylo Ren and Rey is chopping people's heads and arms and shit off, give it a rest. Get out of here. I don't care if they had armor on it anyway. People was losing heads. Y'all cut that crap out and just quit being so damn stuffy. Get out of here.
I agree. All right, so let's do like we always do. Go around the room. We'll give our final thoughts and a rating 1 to 10. We usually do capes, but a lot of times people take over and go, oh, let me do Deadpool masks or let me do sliced bullets. So whatever you guys want. And
Wait a minute. Do sliced bullets count twice because they're sliced?
Yes. And
That's too hard.
and we'll let our guest go first. Montago.
All right, man. Again, I think Deadpool 2 is a better movie than Deadpool 1. Not that they're put here to compare, but I really liked it because I like the emotional, additives of the death of the girlfriend. I like the speech of what was it, the old lady, and I think it had more to it than the first movie. It had a bunch of comedy. I will say that the first movie was probably funnier because it was unexpected, but I think the second movie is a better movie.
Yeah. You respect our opinions even though we're wrong. Got it. Go ahead.
I give it probably 8.5 Kates.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
John?
I think it was just as good as the last one. I think they're pushing the envelope a little bit. As long as they stay within the envelope, I think that they'll come up with a third movie, which will be just as good as the last two or better, which would be great because, sequels these days have the worst time, the absolute worst.
Mm-hmm.
And considering how this all started, basically by fans screaming for it, I think we've come a long way, and I think this is a great ride to be on right now, especially with Ryan Reynolds, who is proving that his comedic timing and his just joy at playing this character is unstoppable. So I'm going to give it 8.5 Mirror Universe Pinkie Pies. And if you don't get that joke, you'll have to watch the death battle between Deadpool and Pinkie Pie.
Maybe we'll put the link in the description. All right. I think we're all in agreement with the number. So there is one thing I didn't say while we're talking, and it's my only fear going forward is...
Wait, did you rate it?
What?
Did you rate it?
I will in a second.
Oh, okay. Don't forget to rate it. I need something to make fun of you with tonight.
Anyway, so my only fear going forward is one of the things that makes Deadpool work in a lot of comics, and especially if they start bringing him into a broader universe, is his craziness and weirdness against the straightness of other characters. And I kind of felt like, the other characters in this movie were starting to get as jokey as him a little bit. Obviously not Cable, because Cable's the straight man. But a lot of the characters had jokes as well. So my only fear is once that starts happening too much, then it becomes more of a comedy than it is a superhero movie with humor. You know what I'm saying? But, again, we don't know what the future holds. But again, love this movie. Just like the last one, I'm going to give it 8.5 capes. That's what I gave Deadpool 1. So we all agree on the score. That's a first on this show, I think.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Harmony. Peace.
And love.
Wow.
Cool. So before we wrap it up, one more time, Montago, where can people find you and your show?
All you have to do is go to fansofpatrol.com. You can hit every link we got at fansofpatrol.com.
Cool. All right. And I will again shout out our website, superheroespeak.com. You can find all our social media links there as usual. And yeah. So as always, boys and girls, thanks for listening. And don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.